What's up, Colton, Devin, Ryan, Aaron? What's going on, everybody? Colton says Mitch decided to use his legs last night. He did. I've been telling you guys all year, if they would let him be the quarterback that he is, Mitch is not a bad quarterback. And he fits into the Bears system perfectly. He's not a true mobile quarterback. He's not a true pocket passer. He's a small mixture of both that he has a high football IQ. Matt Nagy needs to get out of his damn way. Jerry Valdez, what's going on, sir? Everything I've been saying for the past 6 or 7 weeks. They use it last night, and what happens? They take down a team that it's just time. It's time for everybody to realize Dallas is just not there. They're going to have to rebuild again before Super Bowl comes, in my opinion. They need one more rebuild. We'll give a few minutes to let everybody come on in. I'm sure most everybody's coming from Cappers Direct's live show they were doing, and I did not want to take anyone away from that, so I was trying to wait until he finished up. Christian, you know how it is. Friday's my favorite day. And even though there's not a huge slate of games, small slate of games for college basketball, considering. NBA, there's a decent slate of games. There's a decent slate of NHL. And we do have some college football. I really like tonight's card. I like the selections. I like the information. I think today's going to be a really good day. Yes, they did, but even more so, did anybody watch the Bruins game? Because I haven't gone back and watched the Tampa Bay game yet. I was kind of keeping up with a play-by-play on my phone, and I had all these TVs going, but I was watching the Bruins game, the Bears game, and then I had on the Wichita State basketball game. And is it just me, or did the Bruins game seem like it was going in slow motion? Like the Blackhawks and the Bruins. And I'm not saying as in like they were playing differently. It just seemed like the whole game was in slow motion. Like it was just very slow. And we all know the Bruins are not a slow team, especially in the Garden. But damn, that game just seemed like it was slow. I don't know why. Maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm the only one that thought that. I really like this slate of games today. The game that I'm working on now is the football game. Utah and Oregon. It's the one I've been working on for about the past half hour now. And I've made a couple of phone calls to some people that I've got out on the left coast to see what, if anything, I can dig up that maybe I don't already know. So I'm hoping to have a play in that game because that will be what I am tuning into tonight, football-wise. Basketball-wise, I am going to probably tune into the Duke-Virginia Tech game and the Michigan-Iowa game. Those are my two that I will be watching in real time. Everything else I'll have to go back and watch after the fact. And congrats to everyone that did their 1-year upgrade for 1,000 that we did yesterday. I actually ended up pulling the trigger on it. So a lot of the current 1-year All Access or Top Play clients had the ability to go ahead and upgrade for another year in advance for a measly $1,000. And the deal's technically still going on, but it's only got until 5 p.m. So it's almost over. So congrats to everyone that did so. Colton says, Chase, I live bet the Wild last night because I think William Hill in Iowa had the wrong odds, but let me know. Midway through the third, when it was 5-4 Wild, they had the Wild plus 1.5 at 225. Yes, that would have been wrong. It should have been Wild minus 1.5 at plus 225. Because, and the only reason that it would have been that high of odds, at something above plus 200 is because the entire game, as soon as one team would score, the other one would fire right back. I mean, case in point, when it was tied up 4-4, it took, 12 seconds for the Wild to have another one? Tampa Bay's goalie, I feel sorry for him. I don't even want to imagine. And they've got the nicest coach in the NHL. Such a good guy. He's a big charity guy. He's a big family guy. But I have heard that when people don't do their job, he's not the person you want to be around. I can't imagine the conversation between him and that goalie last night, because that was pretty pathetic. William Hill won't cancel, Walter. If it's their mistake, they won't cancel. Now, offshore books will, but William Hill, if it's their mistake, it's their mistake. There is no bigger sports book than William Hill Properties. They're all over the country. They wouldn't have canceled his bet. I've seen William Hill make mistakes before that I've capitalized on, and never have had an issue with them canceling my bets. Now, if they get it pre-game, like if they make a mistake and it's 3 hours prior to the game, they may do something, but not in-game or after something's already started. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. I had to send 2 text messages. What's up, Leon? Dylan, the Capitals tonight, I actually haven't got to that game yet. I don't see Anaheim beating them because Anaheim can't keep up with them. Hey, hold on 1 second, guys. Let me take this call. Hey, buddy. Hey, I'm live right now. Can I call you? I'm live right now. Can I call you as soon as I get done?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, give me about an hour and I'll call you right back. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you from this number though.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Too many things going on at once. It is going to be a good day. It was not a good day yesterday, but losing days happen. They happen. They happen. Don't happen a lot, but they happen. Who asked about the Capitals? Dylan, what's your take on the Caps tonight? What do you think? I don't think Anaheim can keep up with them. I mean, obviously they've got home ice, which doesn't mean a whole lot. But I just don't see, if you look at just in terms of speed alone, I just don't see how Anaheim can keep up with them. We can take offense out of it, defense out of it. Just in terms of speed, if both teams played, if it was 0-0 going into the third period, that's when Anaheim tanks because they're out of gas. Tennessee State shit in the bed. They were up by 10 at half is what I saw. What are they doing now? God, if you lose to Chicago State, you got a problem. I mean, a big problem. They're up by 5. They're all right. 9 minutes to go. They're all right. I don't know that they'll cover whatever their spread was, 19 and a half, 20, 20 and a half, whatever it ended up falling on. Tennessee State's nothing to, even worth talking about, but Chicago State is within the bottom 5 of all of D1 basketball. No question about it. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me make a wire transfer real quick. Before my power company wonders why I'm not paying my bill. Let's see. Yeah. Good. Now my lights won't get cut off. God, I have bills that get auto drafted out of one account. And at the beginning of every month, I always forget to transfer money into it. Always. All right, let's get back to the chat. Y'all. Bill, what's up, brother? Mr. Bill Bill Mater Insurance Agency. If you are in the Roanoke, Virginia area or Virginia, period, and you need any type of insurance, make sure you give Bill a call. He will save you money and take care of you. Bill, if you want to put any information in there business-wise, feel free. Keith, no problem, brother. Actually, I didn't plan on going live yesterday, so it was kind of impromptu. I had a follow-up with my oral surgeon yesterday, and then I had a conference call with two attorneys in Pennsylvania that my other attorney has hired to work on something that we got going on. So had a conference call with them about some things, and then had to book a flight to meet them in Philly on tomorrow night, actually, before I head to San Diego. So, had a lot to do, but got done earlier than I thought, and we made it happen. Bill, no problem. Oh, Dylan, the price is phenomenal. That's why I'm wondering what your thoughts were. Leon, that's the game that I'm working on now. I may have a premium play in that game. We can break the game down, if you want to, but as far as giving out a play or a lean on it, I'm going to refrain from doing that for now because I may very well have a play on the card on that game tonight. I like under on that, Colton. I'm getting there, Keith. I'm definitely better than I was. Now that you say that, it's time to take my this god-awful antibiotic. God, this stuff makes you feel like crap. I mean, awful. I hate this stuff. Randy says Bill might want to call Virginia football team and see if they will need insurance before Saturday. I don't know if he does player insurance. Duke will probably take care of it. I think UNC will go under. Yo, what's up, Danny? Thing is about UNC, it's like I said the other day. They have stretches every year that are just not ideal to the team that is actually there. It was good for them that they lost Ohio State the way they did. I mean, I told you guys on live I thought that Ohio State was going to win. Ohio State is my number 2 team in the country in basketball. But Ohio State, UNC, there's not really that much of a difference. If that game got played again tomorrow, Ohio State would not win that game like that again. They wouldn't win that game like that in Columbus. That was a fluke. North Carolina got in its own head. But it was good that they lost the game that way, because then that allows Roy Williams to do what he does, and that's coach the boys up, which is what they need. And, the second coming of Christ, Cole Anthony, I mean, I love the kid to death, and I'm so glad he's there, but they're hyping the kid like they did Zion. They need to stop that shit. Let him play. Let him play, let him prove himself, let the numbers do the talking. Stop hyping him up just because he went out there and broke a record against Notre Dame. Who gives a shit? It's Notre Dame. God, the phones are going crazy today. let's hear everybody's thoughts on. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, I gotta address something here, and I don't want anyone to take this as me being an asshole, me being rude, but I don't want any more emails talking about another service, and you guys know who I'm talking about. I don't want any bad mouthing of that service because you guys don't hear me bad mouth them. I get enough of it every day. I hear that so and so said this about you, so and so made this accusation, so and so did this. I do not care. I don't care. And the thing is, I know everybody thinks that I hate this person. I don't. Matter of fact, I got a lot of love for him. Things have happened. I moved on. It is what it is. If somebody's mad about that, get over it. It's that simple. It needed to happen. Him and I working in the same organization was oil and water. That's exactly what it was. What people tend to forget is that him and I created something unreal. We changed this industry. Point blank period. Him and I, single-handedly. Other people came in after the fact. I love those guys as well. They all know that. But him and I changed this industry. And we turned it on its head. We did some great things together. And we could do some great things together in the future. It would just have to be me on my own, him on his own, and then we do something together. But it would always have to be from two separate entities coming as one for one particular goal. And you know what? I hope it happens one day. And if it doesn't, okay, I'm not going to sleep no differently. I'm just tired of getting the email. So-and-so said this about you. I didn't care 6 months ago. I sure as hell don't care now. And I know people think that when they send me emails talking badly about a person, it's going to make me like that person more. No, it irritates the ever-living shit out of me. It irritates the immortal shit out of me. If you guys don't like the person, good. Fair enough. I don't have any ill will towards them. Period. Things have happened. I'm not happy about certain things. I'm sure the same goes on the other side. But that don't mean that I have forgotten what we did together and what went on. And you know what? When I have love for someone, I don't just lose it. So I still got mad love for the guy. It just, it was time to move on. It is what it is. Oh, shit. God, this phone won't stop ringing. Let's get back to this chat. Dylan says, you are headed to the MLB winter meetings, correct? Any thoughts on the Pham Renfroe trade? Yes. So I'll answer both of those questions. Actually, that's a good question. I like that somebody actually brought up that Renfroe trade because I was talking to myself about that this morning. So yes, I am going to the winter meetings. And what I think about the Renfroe trade is, I can't really say whether it's going to work or not, whether it was good or not. What I can tell you is it was a smart trade, and this is why. What people don't realize about Renfroe is because all they look at is season-long averages. And if you look at averages and numbers from a full season standpoint from Renfroe, they're not that great. He's average. But split it down the middle and look at his early season averages from opening day to All-Star break. Yeah, I'll get to it, Colton, for sure. Anyway, he's average. Now, but early season, opening day to All-Star break, he's great. Numbers are great. So you can look at it two ways, but this is the reason. This is why I think that Tampa wanted this trade. Is not because he's an early season guy, because there are teams that'll do that. That'll go and look and say, okay, there are players that are great early season guys, and by the All-Star break, they fizzle out. Now, You can't just go out there and pick up a guy, use him the first season, and then send him down. You can't, because that means that person wants nothing to do with you when arbitration or free agency or non-controllable contracts come into play. They'll want to move on because they want to play all year. So you'll still have to use him in the rotation at some point. But here's the thing about Renfroe. He can beat up lefties. Against right-handers, second half of the season, he's below average. Well below average. But against lefties, he's a lefty killer. Look at the division that Tampa plays in. They have to play the Yankees. They have to play the Red Sox. So you have David Price. You have Paxton. You have all these lefties that they have to deal with. And I think that's why Tampa wanted him. And I think that if that is the reason, is to be a lefty killer and someone that can get on base against such a lefty heavy division, second half, it gives a small edge to Tampa down the stretch. And the other thing is, the way that contract worked out based on the things that I've read and looked into is that, because we all know Tampa's a small market, their salary cap is one of the lowest in baseball, and so they have to watch every dollar that they spend. And this year they have $5 million less to spend than last year. So take that into consideration. With what they just did, they just freed up $1 million. Plus, they put in a non-controllable entity into the bottom half of the contract, which frees up another $500,000 that they can use immediately. They don't have to wait or spread it out over 4 years. They can use it immediately. So now they just freed up $1.5 million going into the 2020 season. Do that for 1-2 more people. Drop a couple of people down to 3A. You've freed up 3.5 out of the $5 million you were down, and now it's not going to be that much of a difference. There's my take on it. Danny says, Chase, have you been to the new Brave Stadium and do you like it better or not? I have been to the new Brave Stadium a few times for games. Went and took a private tour of it back in February, I think it was. If you go look on my Twitter, I took some pictures and posted it because we got a VIP tour while everybody was away at spring training. I think that what they did around the stadium is beautiful. I think the stadium in general is beautiful. But let's be honest, it's just Turner Field all over again. The layout is exactly the food in the. What's going on, Cappers Direct? Is that Kyle or Jay? But it is a beautiful ballpark. It's nothing more than Turner Field all over again. Do I agree with them building the new ballpark? Not necessarily. Turner Field just started in '97 when it was built for the Olympics. That thing still had a long way to go. Turner Field was kind of near and dear to me. I grew up going to Old Fulton County and Turner Field, and I don't like new. In baseball, I like old, run down. I don't like high tech. I like it old, rustic. That's the way I like it. But no, I do like the stadium. I do. I think that organization spends their money very well. What's up, Kyle Johnson in the house, Cappers Direct. Everybody give Kyle a shout out. Kyle, do you? I caught wind that you have a big play either today or this weekend, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I heard. right, let's go back up to my man Colton. All right, hold on one second. Tommy Grant, what's going on? Game of the week is tonight. All right, guys, if you're looking for a big game to step out on and you've ever done business with Cappers Direct before, there you go. He's got a game of the week tonight. The one that I am looking at is actually in tomorrow's action. We had another one we were looking at in tonight's action. I've decided to lay off of it. It just didn't sit exactly where I wanted it to, so I'm not going to force the play. But we most certainly should have one tomorrow. I'm waiting on a little bit of information to come through, but I should have it by mid to late evening, and if I do, I'll be releasing it tonight so you can place the action before tomorrow. Randy, I'm sure he's not going to give you that play. You will have to purchase that. I'm going to go cut my fan on. Danny, run the chat for a second. Let me cut this fan on real quick. And I'm going to come back and we're going to answer Colton's question about three-way betting in hockey. Be right back. What do you think about the Braves signing Hamels? I think they spent too much money on Hamels. I like Hamels, don't get me wrong. I think he's a great pitcher, had a fantastic career. But, I mean, based on what he did last year, and I understand he's more of a bigger ballpark pitcher kind of guy. So I never really thought that he was going to be overly dominant at a place like Wrigley. But even on the road last year, he really struggled. So I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, he was probably worth $8 to $11 million for a year just because of the name and the hope of what he could still do. $18 million is a little bit steep in my opinion. I think they could have spent $18 million a little better than Hamels. But I'll be honest with you, the pitching market free agent wise is a little bit slim this year. Considering you have your big name guys like your Strasburgs and your Cole and your Garrett Coles and all that, but the Braves can't spend that type of money right now. They can't. And if they did, they wouldn't be able to get anything else. And right now, the Braves need to worry about a bullpen. So I don't know. Maybe they've got ideas for Cole to be a middle reliever. And we just don't know it yet. I still don't think a middle reliever is worth $18 million at his age, but I think Cole could be a great middle reliever, and if he did something to carry them into an NLCS, I think it'd be worth the expense. Oh, yeah, Kyle, me and you talked about that. It's not far from where my grandparents have their brick for being season ticket holders for over 4 decades. It's not that late here, Randy. We still got a couple of hours yet before that will start happening. My desk won't be here for too much longer. I had to move it here while some other stuff was getting done on the other side of the room. So it'll actually be permanently placed in a different location here in a few weeks. I bet Kyle does not like Clemson. All right, let's go up to Colton. He wants to talk about three-way betting in hockey. So if anybody doesn't know what a three-way bet is in hockey, and I don't play them very often. I've only played 3 in like the last 2 years. I usually always try to incorporate overtime into my bets because overtime in hockey is not an uncommon thing. What a three-way bet is basically you're betting for regulation. You can bet for one side or the other to win in regulation or for a tie. And you'll have different odds with different, depending on what it is. A three-way bet allows you to take a game with extremely high odds and bring those odds down to a justifiable betting amount. So, for instance, last night Boston was laying around 250. After that 250, you could bet a three-way and do it in regulation and get it down to about 150. Worth the bet, but they have to win within regulation. And then Colton was asking, will you lose if Colton, re-ask your question so I can make sure I answer it right. The Braves have already spent well over $100 million this offseason. The Braves are not shy about writing checks right now. Biggest offseason moves right now, White Sox and Braves. Danny, don't you dare try to recruit people for your cesspool fan base. If it goes into overtime, do you push or lose? I know with William Hill, it would be a no bet in most circumstances unless otherwise noted. At offshore books, it is up to the discretion of the book. A lot of times with betonline.ag or even 5 Dimes, I don't have to worry about it being a loss. It would be a push and a no bet. But I have seen in certain situations where it has become a loss. I'm handling it. Colton, that is correct. And again, it's at the discretion of the books, and offshores can do what they want. All right, see you, Alex. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, sorry. I was tired of answering the phone on camera, so I had to slide out for a sec. All right, so let's see what we got. Somebody asked did I like LSU. Any thoughts on LSU Georgia game? I think that'll be a good game. Georgia lacks the offense. LSU lacks the defense. Both are good coaches. I think the coaching edge goes to Kirby Smart. I think it's going to be a good game. If LSU does not come out playing their high caliber offense, then Georgia can beat them because of their defense. Otherwise, I don't think that Georgia can score enough points to beat them. But I do think it can be a very good game. I just don't think anybody's on the level of Ohio State. I think the best matchups playoff-wise would be Ohio State versus Georgia, LSU versus Clemson. Clemson, LSU being the offensive teams, Ohio State being all around. I think Ohio State needs to play a defensive team. They're not my very last ranked team any longer. They went up a couple of spots, but they're in the bottom 5. I mean, they're covering plus 20 to Tennessee State. I mean, that's like being the smartest kid in the retard class. Danny said he's an LSU fan now. So he's a fan of the real Tigers and the real Death Valley now. Mitch is back. I don't know who that is. I think the Ravens are playing like the best team right now. I think right now they are playing like the best team. Let's see what we got on the board for the next 2 days. Yeah, right. The Cowgirls. Could I ask who your bottom 5 or 10 teams are in NCAA basketball? You can. I don't know if you're ever going to have heard of them before, but I can definitely go over them. It was, since the start of the season up until 2 days ago, my bottom team was Chicago State. My bottom 5 would be Maryland Eastern Shore, Central Connecticut, Delaware State, Chicago State, and my very, very bottom team at this moment in time would be Mississippi Valley State. Do you think with Andy Dalton back, needing to show some life, they make a little run at the end of the year? No, I don't. They'd be stupid to make a run at this point because then that takes them out of number 1 pick. If this was 4 weeks ago, then maybe. But Andy Dalton went out there and did what he needed to do. He showed out. Now all he has to worry about do is put up a little bit of numbers, show that he's not completely dead, and allow the Bengals to still lose to guarantee they get the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Yeah, I've got Maryland Eastern Shore at like 350 out of, or no, 349 out of 353. What's everybody's initial thoughts on tonight's big game? Utah, Oregon. Chase, are you going to go live while you were in San Diego? I understand it's pretty cool. I doubt it. I'll be doing free play videos. I'll be doing like some Twitter live stuff, like, quick here and there, but no official live show. I just, I won't have the microphone or anything with me. Plus, I'm going to be extremely busy while I'm out there, and I won't have an hour or two to set aside to go live. Plus, I'd have to find somewhere to go live from, that'd be quiet enough to do it. And, I'm staying right downtown where all the action is. So, no live show till I get back. Leon likes the under. Tommy likes Utah. Matt likes Utah. Wow, no love for Oregon. Wow. I don't care who wins. I don't think the Pac-12 deserves a spot in the playoffs this year. Sorry. I just do not. It could be, Colton. I think it'll be a decent game. But I don't think that any one of these teams at any point this season have been truly worthy of a top 4 playoff spot. I mean, I get it. If a team goes undefeated or something like that, I mean, they are a Power 5 team, so you've got to, you can't just completely cut them out of the mix. But if we're going to talk about who the best 4 teams in the country are, I'm sorry, nobody in the Pac-12 fits that bill. Not this year. Maybe bring back Pete Carroll to do some things and we'll talk. No, that's the thing. I think that's what the committee sees too, is that, let's say Utah makes it in and has to play Ohio State and they get beat by 111 points. Oh, that was a really great playoff matchup. I'm sorry, but if we're going to do a 4-team playoff or a playoff of any sort, I want it to be at least a game. I mean, it's like the ACC championship tomorrow. Clemson's 4 touchdown favorites. What kind of championship game is that? What's the point of it? It's worthless. If Oregon was a one-loss program this year, they would have gotten in. However, Utah's schedule does not deserve a spot over a one-loss Oklahoma, one-loss Baylor, even a one-loss Georgia if they beat LSU. Agree on everything you just said. I was listening to a radio show the other day called Straight Up with Sturge, sports talk show. Comes on from like 4 to 7 or something. This stupid redneck thinks he knows everything. And I mean, let's put it this way. Tell you how big of a genius he is. He said that the reason that Steph Curry is not an elite basketball player is because he couldn't beat LeBron James one-on-one. He could not beat a man that's 3 times his size one-on-one. And that's why he's overrated and not truly a good basketball player. And this guy's out there talking about Georgia has been the most overrated program since the 1980s. And so I called into this show and asked him where he was getting his information from and what was making Georgia overrated. Because they've only been to the playoffs one time and they deserved every bit of it. Every year they've gone to the SEC championship. They've deserved it. There's no denying it. It's like Virginia's going to the ACC championship. And he had no answer. He just said that he thinks they're overrated this year. So then I asked him if he was a Clemson homer, and just so happens that he is. So we see where a lot of the media people that want to talk and say that this team's this team's this, they're just homers for certain teams. They don't actually know anything. What's better, Oklahoma versus Ohio State or Utah, Oregon versus Ohio State? Oklahoma versus Ohio State, a great coach, a great quarterback in Jalen Ramsey versus a great team. Um, Utah's not a top four team. Okay, I mean Oregon's fine. I mean, Oregon's been in the mix for years now. Utah just pops up out of nowhere and has a really good year, and now they're talking about them being a playoff contender. I'm sorry, nothing in the state of Utah wows me, especially their football team. Keith Davis says Utah does not wow anyone. Oh, I just said that. Yeah, don't wow me. They are physical on both sides of the ball, but there's a difference between being physical on both sides of the ball out there on, out west right now with the way that teams are versus, coming in and playing teams from the Big Ten or the SEC. Anybody listen to Paul Feinbaum or watch his show? I was on that the other day too. I called in. They took my call on that about his Dabo Swinney comment. I told Paul that he was now my favorite human for that comment. Thoughts on Lakers Blazers tonight? Ooh, that's going to be a good game. LeBron and Melo. I think that'll be a lower scoring game than people think. Blazers slow the pace down a little bit. What do we got on that game right now? $224 is a total. I don't know. I'll probably stay away from that total. Right now, Melo's got to do a little bit more. The Blazers have to become a little more familiar with one another before I would take them over the Lakers. I probably will not have any action on that game. If forced to pick it, I'm not standing in the Lakers' way right now. Saw some rumors about Urban and Dallas have mutual interest. Do you see any possibility of that happening? Urban Meyer's going to take another job, period. And he either goes out there and takes a job like Dallas, or because people were talking about him going to Arkansas or Ole Miss. He's not going there. He's proven that he can win anywhere in the country. He's proven, because I'll be honest with you, you want to talk about one of the greatest coaches, college coaches of all time? Urban Meyer's it. Look at Nick Saban's stats. Look at Dabo Swinney. Look at Bear Bryant. Look at Bobby Bowden. Look at all these guys. And I want you to go look at win-loss and true coaching stats for Urban Meyer. You might change your mind about who is the best coach in this modern era, because it's Urban Meyer. That dude just wins no matter where he's at. And he is the best recruiter, bar none, that's ever been around. And if he doesn't take a job like Dallas, he'll wait it out one more year, and he'll go to Southern Cal. He's been to his alma mater. He's been to Gainesville. He's not going to take any more small-time gigs or any gigs in small towns. It's either going to be NFL in a place like Dallas, get him a Super Bowl ring and die happy, or he goes to Southern Cal, lives out in L.A., and he'll win a couple of national championships there and then come up with another life-threatening illness. Pete Carroll is fantastic. I love Pete Carroll. But let's face it, Pete Carroll didn't have to do near the recruiting work that Urban Meyer did to get kids to play in L.A. versus Gainesville, Florida. No, Southern Cal, they they gave one more year to their coach, and That's why I say if he don't sign with Dallas, give it a year, and Urban will be in. He'll be in LA. I think they brought Helton back more as a statement about their program, not because they actually believe he'll do anything. I think they brought it back as a statement that they're not just going to be all over the board every year, that they're actually going to, that you show that now Southern Cal can put true trust into people. Let me tell you something. If Steve Sarkisian wouldn't have gone out and had, everybody has issues. Everybody goes through things in life. And he had to deal with some personal demons of his. Had that not happened, I think Sarkisian would have won a national championship at USC. Yeah, I think they should have fired him too, Kyle. Bring Urban Meyer there, and I'd bet anyone out there right now $10,000 it takes Urban Meyer less than 3 years to win a national championship. 3 years or less. By the time he gets to recruit and have some of his early recruits be at least juniors, he's winning national championships. And now he is putting the Pac-12 back on the map as a true national powerhouse. I do think that it is good that Utah is ranked where they are. And I think because of that, you'll see teams like not only Utah again, but other Pac-12 teams and other Western Conference teams like your Mountain West and things like that start to recruit a little bit better. They'll start spending a little more money on the coaching side of things, because I'm telling you right now, people out west, they don't like it when one team takes over. I mean, everybody knows when Oregon went on that run of 4 or 5 years where every year they were a consistent top 5 offense and they were always ranked in the top 10 and just blowing teams out week in and week out, and they were the face of the Pac-12. Everybody from Colorado over hated it. They did not like it. So then you start seeing teams spend money, change things around. Well, if Utah becomes that team, same thing will happen. Same thing will happen if Urban goes to USC and he pops out a national championship within 2 years. I don't know, Randy. I'm not gonna be playing in that game. I said that I would not stand in front of the Lakers, but until the game's played, we don't know. I will not have any action on that game. The Lakers are a better team. I can give you that much. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, he will. It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if he's in Cleveland next year. It's all going to depend on. See, that's where I think Lincoln Riley should go. If he was going to take a pro job, don't go to Dallas. Go to Cleveland. Get back with Baker Mayfield and convince Odell Beckham to hang around and go out there and win a Super Bowl. And I think that he could do that. College coaches do not have successful college coaches usually don't have a lot of success in the NFL. I mean, there's exceptions to that rule. Hence Pete Carroll. But, I mean, you even look at people like Nick Saban, Steve Spurrier, people like that. They go to the NFL and they tank. They got to go back to college. But you put Lincoln Riley in Cleveland with Baker again, and he can convince some of those big names to stay, and they spend a little more money. I think Lincoln could go out there and win a Super Bowl pretty fast. Yeah, I think it's already hurt him. I just hope they don't pull a World Series from them, even if they deserve it or not. And I'm not even going to give my opinion on that. Even if they deserve to have the 17 World Series taken from them, they don't need to, because if that happens, then you're going to see lawsuits from every organization stem from this decade and this decade and this decade, and before you know it, 15 different World Series have been taken from 15 different franchises, and now Major League Baseball as a whole has basically collapsed in on itself. They'll ruin baseball if a World Series gets pulled from that team. There needs to be other punishments, but that doesn't need to happen for the sake of saving the game. I do. I just don't understand why he's doing it this early. I think that he should have waited till post All-Star break. But I think he's setting himself up to go into the All-Star break with, pretty much all but mathematically locked in a postseason spot. Then they can take a break, come back, last quarter of the season and lock up home court advantage and, be set up to be, a number one seed. Hey, hold on, guys. Let me plug my computer in because we've only got 21%. Give me 30 seconds. Let me plug my computer in so that it doesn't die on us. All right, we should be good now. Okay. Congrats to everyone that did their 1-year extensions. Because I'm pretty sure we're done with all those. It's already 3:30, so about an hour and a half if anybody wants to do the $1,000 1-year extension. You can do so. Reach out to me via email, and I'll get you taken care of. Otherwise, congrats to everyone that's done so, and we'll be wrapping that up at 5 p.m. No, I know who he is. I'll be honest with you. Georgia homers, Alabama homers. I can't stand listening to them. Just like I can't stand listening to Clemson homers. No offense. I'm not saying you're a homer. But they're just one-sided, closed-minded, and, their team is do no wrong, best in the world, and they just don't, they're not willing to admit the flaws. If they would actually talk, about their team the way they really are, good or bad, then I'd have a lot more respect for people like that. Because all it does is irritate me. Oh, damn. Hold on. I forgot my cup. Sorry about that. Set my cup down over there when I was grabbing my charger. So, guys, we should have a big play tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get any further detail. I'm not going to tell you what time it goes, what sport it's in, what time it starts, who the teams are, anything, because every time I do that, then I get question upon question upon question about it. And then if I end up not having it, I have people that still try to play it and then get mad at me when it loses, even though I didn't give them the game. So I'm leaving it at that. I've got a couple of phone calls to make later this evening to, check a few things off my list to make sure that they are what they seem. And if so, I'll knock out a write-up, post the play tonight. It goes tomorrow. Anyone can purchase it as soon as I post it, and I will send an email out and put it on social media to let everybody know that it is there. I think they put that meltdown he had on TV. Because all the replays that they were doing, I'm pretty sure that was him. And he hates Clemson. Good. God bless him. If you said anything on Stephen F. Austin and Alabama, my phone froze. I have not. Alabama's better than I think they get credit for in basketball. If you talk to an SEC basketball fan, which is, listen, unless you're a Kentucky fan, there's no reason to even be a basketball fan if you pull for the SEC. I'm sorry, they're just not. It is the most boring basketball. There's two teams that are not boring to watch. That's Auburn and Kentucky. But I mean, I've got Alabama in my top 100. They're in my top 85. So I think that they handle business tonight. I really do. I told you guys it was a fluke that they beat Duke, but Duke's also a very freshman-heavy team that just made mistakes, and they got into their own head when they got down. I think Alabama will be able to take care of business. I think people are going to be giving Stephen F. Austin credit because they're going to be thinking that they won and beat Duke because they're a good team. That's just not the case. Chase, you know John is okay at missing being here. As far as I know, he texted me yesterday. Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, he might be busy. It is Friday afternoon. No, I don't like him. I was just saying that because of your Clemson comment, but no, I don't care for him that much. I like the fact that he hates Clemson, but I'm certainly not a fan of his. I'm not a true fan of Paul Feinbaum, but his comment made me a fan of him. He just finally said what every other person in the media has been thinking. But everybody's scared to say something about him because they know Dabo's going to respond, because all that man does while Venables and the rest of the coaching staff are out there working with the team, he's sitting in his office watching and listening to sports talk radio, figuring out who's talking about him, and if they're not praising him, he's going to mention it because he's a fucking crybaby. He's a bless your heart Baptist, football coach. But I mean, you guys saw how he blasted his own kid on the sideline. Blasted him. think I have asked you, but not sure. You told me premium plays 1 unit, top plays 3 units. What should play of the week, play of the month, play of the year? Usually 5 units on a play of the year. It'd be higher, but it'd be dependent on what your bankroll's looking like and your overall winnings from the last time you've made a play of the year. So it could be in excess of 10 units. It's all just going to be dependent on where your bankroll's sitting at the time that we have one. I don't mind Paul Feinbaum. He's a lot more knowledgeable than people give him credit for. Everybody thinks just because he's a weird-looking old man that he don't know anything about football. But no, the people that don't know anything about sports are people like Max Kellerman. God, he's such an annoying little twerp. I don't see how Stephen A. even puts up with him. I think Stephen A. hires him because he knows that he's going to talk out of his ass all day, and Stephen A. is just going to be able to crush him, and he'll get good ratings out of it. It is going to be a good day. Yeah, but he's an idiot. I can't stand Max Kellerman. And he always looks like he's got chocolate on his face. And he spits a lot when he talks. That bothers me. Maybe it shouldn't, but it does. And he always yells and like enunciates things in such a dominant way when he shouldn't. But then the stuff that he should yell about, he just talks like this. I wonder how much he paid for that to get some social media ratings. You really think she's gonna date that 4-foot midget? I've never seen Lord of the Rings, but that's what I like when I see him. That's what I picture. I think he's coming out with a live show too called Man Purse Mondays. So fucking stupid. If you gonna spend money, I mean, good lord, there's other ways to flash your money instead of buying purses. Chase, any thoughts on Memphis Cincy football game this week? Yeah, I slightly lean Memphis. I haven't done a deep dive on that game yet, but I mean, at first glance, I actually like Memphis. After Duke put a whooping on my Spartans, do you think they'll keep it going against Virginia Tech? Should they? Sure. Will they? Don't know. Playing on the road, playing in Blacksburg against who did I tell you? Who's my sleeper in the ACC? Virginia Tech. This is not going to be a walk in the park for Duke. Should they take care of business? Sure. But it's not to say they will. Again, we're talking about a very freshman-heavy team. A lot of inexperienced kids. Very talented kids. But care how talented you are, they're still freshmen. Virginia's, they're going through a lot of changes as well. They lost 80% of their scoring from last year, but they've bounced back in a way no one thought they could. Utah just moved down to 6.5. Who wants a free play in the NHL? But you're going to need a line shop this one. Don't overpay. You're going to need to line shop this one. Chase, do you know about what time your play will come out? My play? Or my card? My overall card for the day. Let's see. Right now it's 3:45 Eastern time, probably around 5 o'clock Eastern time. Their running game? No, I don't. I think they're gonna have to go through the air, because even if their running game did stand a chance, the problem is running game's gonna eat the clock. That's what Georgia wants. They want them to eat that clock, and if it comes down to last second type stuff, LSU does not want that with Georgia. Not with Kirby Smart and all the years of experience he has in big games like this. So LSU needs to air it out and create separation. All right, guys. Line shop this one. 9:05 p.m. LA Kings at Edmonton Oilers. Line opened up at -160 in favor of Edmonton. It's been as high as -180 in favor of Edmonton with a total of 6 goals. I'm going to stay off the total on this one. This is why I say line shop it. I would never go above 165 on a money line under any circumstances. I am seeing a couple of 160s, a couple of 165s, and I'm even seeing things as high as 175. If you can get it at 160 or 165, or God bless you if you can find it lower than that, take Edmonton on the money line. Do not lay a penny over 165 to do so unless you are willing to take the risk. But you should be able to find at least a 165 out there if you shop it. And I like Edmonton to take care of business at home tonight. And if you like, sprinkle a little bit on the money line or on the puck line on that one, because you're getting really good value at plus 145. So make a little fun money bet on the puck line. Make your more serious bet on the money line for Edmonton. Later on, Kyle. Appreciate it, brother. right. So, free play in the NHL. If you guys want to throw some, I know some of you guys like the high spread action. For those that like the high spread action, you're welcome to sprinkle a little bit on Missouri State tonight, minus 28. Because I do think they'll cover that. Don't look too much into it. Mississippi Valley State, I think, is the worst team in all of D1 basketball. And so I'm not scared to lay upwards of 30 points against a team that is within my top 200. So I like Edmonton more than I like Missouri State as far as a play goes, but there's just something that you can sprinkle some fun money on. Oh my God, the market's fantastic. From Atlanta to Charlotte, you can't go wrong. The job market, I mean, there's so much manufacturing, engineering. I don't know any unemployed people. Let's put it that way. Everybody's got jobs. Everybody's got good paying jobs. Houses are going for astronomical amounts, more than people are buying them for after them, only being in them for a couple of years. A lot of rental properties because so many different people are moving to that area of the country, that corridor, from Atlanta all the way up to Charlotte. Yes, that is correct, Matt. That is correct. Yes, sir. No problem, guys. Any questions for me before we wrap it up? Questions regarding any type of packages or anything that I can answer? Because I'm going to get off here in a second. My wife informed me that my little one's running a little fever, so I'm going to go to the store, grab some Tylenol for her, and then I'm going to finish up the games for today, get those posted, and start working on my possible big play for tomorrow. The over-under that I have is 143 right at the moment. Yep, I think the Warriors may play a little bit better tonight at the United Center than people may give him credit for. Steve Kerr, that's his home right there. Played with Jordan and Pippen and Horace Grant and Dennis Rodman. Steve Kerr was a part of some championships right in that very building. He's coming home. I'm not saying they're going to win. They're in a complete tailspin right now, but I mean, Chicago's nothing to brag about. I'll put it to you this way. If the game was a pick 'em, I'd take the Bulls. But right now, I think the line is exactly where it needs to be. That 4 to 5 range is accurate. I think that's probably the sharpest line on the board as far as NBA games tonight. Oh, trust me, I am. I took some just a few minutes ago. They put me on another round of them yesterday. It's a different one, not as high powered for when these end tomorrow. I've got to take that for 7 days, and then that should be it. So hopefully next Saturday will be the last dose of any antibiotics that I have to take. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But guys, it was good. If there's anybody, just one final announcement on it. We got 1 hour left for anybody that's wanting to do the 1 year for $1,000 extension promo. So anybody that wants to jump on that, shoot me an email, chase@chasewins.com, and I will tell you how you can jump on board and take care of that. And yeah, we'll get you on board for another year. I had surgery. I had an abscess on my jaw. But I think that's it, guys. Free play wise, Edmonton money line in the NHL. Do not spend anything over 165. Try to find it cheaper if you can, because I am seeing 160s out there. And then sprinkle some on the puck line as well to get plus 145 odds with it. They are playing against the LA Kings at 9:05 Eastern time tonight. As far as another lean for you, because I know a lot of you guys like the high spread basketball games, sprinkle some fun money minus 28 with Missouri State over Mississippi Valley tonight. I think that should be an easy blowout. But that's it. And then if you guys have any questions on the 1 year for 1,000 promo, shoot me an email. It's available until 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to jump off here and run to the store real quick, but I will be back in touch with you within 20 minutes or so as I am finishing out the games for the day, getting them out, and working on the big play for Saturday. So you will see a free play video from me tomorrow, but then I fly out, so probably won't see anything from me for Sunday except on social media, and we'll be back to doing normal free play videos beginning of the week. So thanks, guys, and if you need anything, shoot me an email, and I'll get you wrapped up before I call it a day. See you guys.